we want to mention, for those of you watching on Flow, no, it's not an illusion. No, we're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. We are going to have to adjust this lineup based on the fact that competitors made adjustments to the race cars, and they will drop to a different position than on the racetrack itself. So as they come off turn number 4, you're looking at the proposed way the field initially was scheduled to be. Now, competitors that made those adjustments will be dropping to the rear of the field.
So let's go with the starting lineup here on the pole after the redraw. Car number 16, the Blue Mountain Machine Future Homes ride out of Norwalk, Connecticut. That is Ronnie Silk. To his outside, out of Holtzville, New York, the Phoenix Communication Incorporated ride is Justin Bonsignor.
Well, it was scheduled to be Brian Roby, who only went one lap under the gun in time before he had 2 tires go down in the automobile. The Bar Harbor Bank and Trust Machine was scheduled to start 3rd. It'll drop to the rear of the field. In the 4th starting spot, the USNE Catalano Motorsports, number 56. Former winner at this racetrack from Ontario, New York, Trevor Catalano.
He was 7/1,000ths of a second away from a victory last night. Car number 1 will start in position number 5. He's also number 5 in the point standings for the Whelen Short Track Cup. That is Patrick Emmerling. To his outside, one of the hottest drivers in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, Kyle Bonsignor out of Bayshore, New York.
And now let's take a look at the 4th row of the inside. Car number 7 from Mooresville, North Carolina, the Baldwin Automotive Machine for the young rookie driver, Luke Baldwin. Scheduled to start in the 8th position, this car will drop to the rear of the field as well for an adjustment. The Extreme Auto Body Sontag Motorsports Bell's Septic car. From Woburn, Massachusetts, car 17, Anthony Nocella.
5th row on the inside out of Westminster, Massachusetts, the New England Truck Design sponsored ride. Car number 06 is Sammy Ramo. To his outside, starting deep in the field after setting fast time out of Northampton, Pennsylvania. The winner of the most recent race is car number 64, Austin Beers.
Now we go to the 11th starting spot, car number 46, the Riverhead Building Supply, car for Craig Lutz out of Miller Place, New York. Stephen Kopsick will start in the 12th spot. The Newtown Pools want a construction car from Newtown, Connecticut.
Max Zackham will start next. Tommy Catalano and Joey Cipriano will start 13th and 14th.
And then in the 15th and 16th, Max Zackham, the number 20 car. Tyler Berry back in 16th, car 59.
Tyler Ripkema, Kyle Ebersol, Dave Sapienza, Matt Hirschman, and Mike Marshall will complete the running order as we get set for the start. The honorary starter this afternoon will be Ira Day from Whelen Engineering. Let's go down trackside to Jacqueline Drake before the race.
Had plenty of time to check in with several of the drivers during that rain delay, but one of them in particular who's extremely important to talk to is our race winner from yesterday, Tommy Catalano, who qualified in the 13th position. He's still in a great mood. He's always a smiling guy, but he said, I wish I would have qualified better. There was a long red before that car rolled out for his qualifying run, and it resulted in him thinking he wasn't able to fire off as effectively and as strong as he thought he would. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to have the strength to move up through this field and survive the 200 laps for that 54.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Getting ready to start here. Caution lights and caution flag stays on the racetrack one more time.
Already a car that made a visit back to the paddock area was car number 36 for Dave Sapienza. Sapienza apparently having a problem. Brian Roby was one of the cars we were not sure about that had made a chassis adjustment. However, he had to make lots of adjustments because that car was involved in a situation that took place. Watch and see if there's an additional adjustment that'll be made to the starting lineup. Once again, here's what's happened in qualifying. Car number 7 got loose, but watch this guy, Matt Hirschman. Back end snaps around, gathers it back, but it wasn't what he wanted. But here's the heartbreaker of the event. Fastest first lap, and then all of a sudden slams the wall. Left side tires are down. But this is the big dog. He's the guy at the dog that set fast time. Big question is, he'll be starting in 10th. 10th's not where you wanted to start when you were the fastest guy in time.
Austin Beers will have to equal what Jimmy Spencer did in 1987 if he's going to win this race, starting as deep in the field as he is. No winner has come from outside of the first 5 rows in 20 completed NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour events. Dave Sapienza joins the field in car number 36.
He'll pick up at the rear of the field. And as you see, the cars that drop back, including the 17 of Nocella, Embersol with the number 5 car, and of course, Hirschman, who was scheduled to start way in the back to begin with. He only lost a position or two. And right there with him, his buddy, Brian Roby, who also is starting back there. Roby and Hirschman will work their magic as a 2-car duo, guaranteed to get back to the front of this field.
Lights stay on the track one more time as we are just trying to get these cars up to race condition. 200 green flag laps, and all of the laps count here in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, which just may really come into factor in the strategy a little bit later on this afternoon as we wind down the race.
Well, no, yesterday we saw Ronnie Silk. He wasn't happy with things at all. Today, will he have a big smile on his face? Justin Bonsignore the same.
The funny thing about Ron Silk was he drew position number 1. You think he would celebrate, throw his hands up, and be okay with it. No, he just walked right off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting us live and in person this afternoon. And for those of us watching on Flow, you are getting ready for one epic event. It is race number 2, the very first time that a back-to-back has happened at the same racetrack for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Here they come, ladies and gentlemen, off turn number 4. To the stripe they come. Green flag is out, and we are racing for the Cheshire County Clash here from the high banks of Monadnock.
Wasting no time driving to the inside. It's Patrick Emmerling giving him spot number 2 and showing Justin Bonsignore his tail as they work their way out the corner. And here comes Luke Baldwin.
Luke Baldwin already making a bid for it, just like he did last night. Baldwin works down underneath Bonsignore. Luke Baldwin going for the 3rd position. Look a little further back. Another great battle is Sammy Ramos, car number 06. He's battling with Kyle Bonsignore and already moving forward. Austin Beers has went from 10 to 7 in 3 circuits here at the quarter mile.
Someone talked some sense into Beers during the rain delay because he is all of a sudden mentally back in the game. Watching on Flow, Justin Bonsignore caught a big break from Trevor Catalano a few laps ago. He pulled down right in front of the youngster in car number 56. They run single file back into turn number 1. Justin caught his breath and is now closing in on Luke Baldwin. Back to the battle for the lead. Patrick Emmerling's all over Ron Silk.
Ronnie Silk continues to guard the spot, but Emmerling is running in his tire tracks. Meanwhile, mid between 1st and 2nd, they come together. They cling and they clang, they come off the turn, they back out of it just for a moment, and Ron Silk is still the leader of the pack. Look a little further back, here comes the 64. Austin Beers has now moved up, taken over the 6th position. Car number 64 working its magic. Now here comes Craig Lutz. He'll now move into the 7th spot, and that bumps Ramos back to the 8th position.
Getting back to that little contact between Ron Silk and Patrick Emmerling, that's just a good veteran respecting another veteran. Could have easily finished off the deal, but too early for that, and you don't want to rattle Ron Silk's cage, that's for sure. So Patrick wise to back out of it. They remain about 2 car lengths separated from each other as they exit turn number 4 this time. On your screen, you see Austin Beers continuing to charge to the front. Next in line is Trevor Catalano, who 1 year and 1 day ago became a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour winner. Last night, his brother Tommy Catalano broke through to victory lane for the first time at the same track.
That is a great battle that's going on. All of a sudden, Bonsignore's car bobbles just a bit. Meanwhile, right there, it is Trevor Catalano who tries to take the move to the inside. It doesn't work. He drifts up on the outside. Austin Beers moves into the picture. Here comes Trevor Catalano. Wheels down under. Trevor Catalano moves in, takes over the 4th spot. Who's the tail that wags the dog there? It is car 64, Austin Beers. Craig Lutz, the Lutz Cracker, is also in contending on the bottom.
Justin Bonsignore was just having a hard time getting off of turn number 2 for about the last 6 laps, but that's turned into just a freight train going around him. You mentioned Craig Lutz to the next in line. Bonsignore has lost 3 positions in as many laps, and this is a driver who has 5 wins at this track, but they've all come before the repave, and I think that's starting to wear into his head just a little bit. Talking with Justin this afternoon, he said, I just want to get out of here with a decent finish. This team favors the larger tracks, and going back to Thompson, where he's also had so much success, is going to be a bit of a homecoming from him, even though he's from New York.
It certainly is, and that's a great battle that you're looking at, but it appears that Bonsignore is hung out to dry in the outside lane. Joey Cipriano, car number 15, has also moved into the top 10. Justin Bonsignore is fighting to stay in the 10th position or so at this particular point. Struggling now. Meanwhile, it is Stephen Kopczyk in that pack of cars that with Tommy Catalano, who's also marching forward.
What's interesting about Bonsignore is that he was a little bit off not only last night, but the last time that they were here. I was talking to him this afternoon. He says, I can't remember when I've had a really dominant car here, and they can't figure out why they can't seem to figure out the new asphalt. And back with the old asphalt, which had dated back to 1984, the track had aged. You had the bumps, and some drivers like Ryan Roby and Justin Bonsignore had used that to their advantage and were able to get one over on the competition for a number of years. But the playing field was leveled when the track was leveled in the offseason of 2023 and 24.
Well, you know, it appears that Ronnie Silk is really starting to pull away now as Patrick Emmerling is there. Let's move a little further back in the field. There is last night's winner, Tommy Catalano, all over Joey Cipriano, the number 15 car. Behind them, it is the Phoenix number 51. That battle is still currently running in contention among those top positions. Meanwhile, it is car 56, the other Catalano car that is running up front in the competition, setting in the 4th spot.
It's getting back to that Tommy Catalano story. A lot of people had thought that Tomcat's win was a surprise last night, and yeah, he hadn't been a top 3 runner for a number of weeks and had never broken through to victory lane. But if you go back and deep dive into the stats, you're going to see Catalano get a little better every single week. He started qualifying in the top 10. He was finishing regularly in the top 10. Had a great run at Lancaster at their home track 1 week ago, and for the 3rd race in 8 days, Catalano is knocking on the door of a top 10.
You're looking at the battle for the 10th position. Joey Cipriano in the Eastern number 15 car tries to hold off the opposition of Tommy Catalano. Behind him, it is Bonsignore, and then Tyler Ripkema, who really had a pretty good run going last night. Late in the event, he started to falter back just a bit. Continuing in that battle, it is still Joey Cipriano holding on to that 10th position. You're looking at 10th on back currently. Cipriano also turning some heads here today. We haven't seen him this strong in quite some time.
Cipriano having a great run, and right behind Bonsignore, a couple of other drivers coming into your picture. Old Blue, and the opposite of blue, the fluorescent yellow, number 17, with Anthony Nocella behind the wheel. That's just outside the top 10. Now, no change in the lead. Ron Silk's still up in front, about 5 car lengths and a few lap cars. Actually, just one, Carl Ebersol, between himself and Patrick Emmerling. This is the battle of the moment.
Yes, it is Bonsignore who quickly made the transition and moved around. All of a sudden, the car that looked so strong is not the case anymore. But just in front of Bonsignore is another one of those great stories with Tommy Catalano. Now in the top 10, the USNE powered machine. Now look at Bonsignore trying to close up that gap. Then we got a 4-car battle. And who's at the bottom of that battle? It is Matt Hirschman. Hirschman running in 15th. Nocella is 14th. Tyler Ripkema is 13th. And Joey Cipriano is 12th. Single file, that pack of cars run 38 laps in.
So a couple of different stories on this one. You have Matt Hirschman, who realizes that, okay, I can't win the race right now, and I'm just going to bide my time. But you can't bide your time too long, because here comes Ronnie Silk, and the separation between Hirschman and the battle that you see on your screen and Ronnie Silk, it's less than a straightaway. So
sure.
About 15 car lengths, and Ronnie Silk's going to start putting some real quality cars a lap down.
Certainly is, and of course you don't want to have that happen. If you need a lucky dog to get back on the lead lap, you have to be the top of the food chain. 1 lap down. Meanwhile, coming up on lap traffic, the next target becomes for Silk. That is Brian Roby's car number 25.
And Ben, remember what happened last night when Patrick Emerling was leading this race and Matt Hirschman was battling to stay on the lead lap, and it was probably one of the fiercest battles we saw all night. That worked out well at the time. It worked out well in his favor, where he was the lucky dog and was able to gain that lap back and did get the wave around. So 2 nights in a row, 2 races in a row for Matt Hirschman, and the story for him would be, can he stay on the lead lap? That's almost unheard of. One of the best drivers of this generation.
You know, a battle that I've been watching that is really hot and heavy is Joey Cipriano's number 15 car. That is back in 12th. Tyler Ripkema is in 13th, Nocella and Matt Hirschman. Those 4 cars trying to make sure that they continue. Look at now, Nocella dives to the inside of Tyler Ripkema. It is Nocella that moves in to 13th position. He's not done yet, and who's there with him? Guess what? Matt Hirschman is there.
You know what I like about the Hirschman car, Ben, is that it looks comfortable. I say that and it breaks loose in turn number 4, but it looks the most solid that it has all afternoon, and that's a good thing for Matt Hirschman. If he can stay on the lead lap, they can catch a caution. He's still not out of this fight.
Another car moving in with this group is car number 20, that black car behind the number 3 car, and that, of course, is Max Zackham. Zackham, an independent runner, turning some heads here. He came to this racetrack, said, I don't have much experience, but I have the desire. And I think he's showing that desire as we speak.
Max has won a bunch of races in different racing disciplines here at Monadnock Speedway, currently running as one of the final cars on the lead lap in 16th. He has a 7th place finish here back in 2016, but other times that he's run, he's been mired in the mid-teens. This afternoon, could see him bump that up a little bit. The 20 car does look fast. Meanwhile, Matt Hirschman closing in on Anthony Nocella, takes a look to the inside in turn 3.
Well, there are just 3 cars in front of him, 2 of which are behind him, and all of a sudden, Ronnie Silk, impressive margin of .354 is all starting to disappear. Patrick Emerling has moved into the back bumper. He is literally nipping at the back bumper for 54 circuits. Car number 16 has been the driving force. Meanwhile, here they come again, off the turn, back up front. Leader is still Silk. He now starts to string it back out. And now, continuing to apply that pressure, Silk is still there. Meanwhile, Emerling can move in striking distance directly in front of them. The 20 of Max Zackham and the number 3 car of Tyler Ripkema. Now, that is the 15th and 16th place car. Whoa!
What a save by Max Zackham. He had that thing about 40 degrees sideways, skating up the racetrack, gathered it back up, did not hit the wall, and stays locked side by side in step with Brian Roby. Sapienza sticks his nose in there.
You know, interestingly enough, that could have been a total disaster for the 2 cars up front. Lead change took place. Car number 1, Patrick Emerling, became the leader of the pack. Emerling was the big dog now, but all of a sudden, he's coming up on Ripkema. Where are the leaders in this event? They are running towards the top, well, into the top 15, and they are continuing to walk away from the competition.
Austin Beers looking strong as well in front of car number 56. Then there's the number 7 of Luke Baldwin. Stephen Kopsick in there as well, as this race has strung out just a little bit. 62 laps into the Cheshire County Class 200 at Monadnock Speedway. On your screen, you see the separation between Patrick Emerling and Ron Silk. Boy, if there is anyone racing with a chip on his shoulder this afternoon, it's got to be the driver of number 1, Patrick Emerling, to feel that his Dale Hedquist prepared number 1 Fleetwood car was going to be the Mac Daddy of them all yesterday, and to have a dominant car by his own admission, and to come up just 7/1000ths of a second short, they got to come in. They want to take the crown away from Austin Beers and all of the drivers ahead of them, ahead of him in the point standings. And also, we talk about point standings. One thing we haven't talked about, the season-long championship where we vaulted from 9th to 5th in one race, and that was last night. Patrick Emmerling is not out of this championship fight.
He certainly is not. Comes up on another lap car. It is Joey Cipriano. Meanwhile, it is Tyler Ripkema who's trying to stay with the leader. And that is kind of the spoiler, right between the leader, which is Emmerling, and of course, right there behind him, it is the number 16 car. So it continues to be a fierce battle, but for 68 circuits, only two different leaders. Ron Silk, the early leader. Patrick Emmerling, the leader now. Beers is up to third from the 10th spot.
Had a chance to talk with Patrick this afternoon about last night, and you know, we've all seen what happened on the racetrack. We've heard Patrick's in-the-moment comment, and there are many times in our own lives when things will happen and we'll think things happen one way and then maybe wake up the next day and think a little differently. And I asked him if he felt the same today as he did last night when he made the comments in the moment about how he felt he was shifted off of the racetrack, and he dialed it back a little bit. He said, you know, there was definitely some contact, and he did get me out of shape, and I've seen multiple angles of it, but I went over and I congratulated them this morning. He doesn't want any bad blood. He knows the Catalanos and the Emmerling clan can get together and get along really well, and harmony is going to be necessity here on a quarter-mile racetrack. So there's no bad blood, no rivalry. They went off and mended fences this morning.
Trouble now. We've got a situation taking place. Tyler Ripkema was up alongside Joey Cipriano. So two cars came together. Dave Sapienza was there. Now, directly behind them and moving forward, Austin Beers. That is your third place car, car 64. It goes around Sapienza and now reels in on the back bumper of another lapped car. Then there's that side-by-side battle. Brian Roby shifts up the racetrack to the inside, goes to number 20 again, and the 7 New York, Luke Baldwin. He is in a dogfight battle with the 21 of Stephen Kopsik.
This is a dangerous part of the race because everyone's guard is down. They were heightened and trying to get these 200 laps in as quickly as possible, and there goes Cipriano. He spins in turn number 4, and this brings out the first caution.
First caution of the event comes out, 78 laps in. Car number 15, we hope we get a replay of that situation. Got a tap to the back bumper. The car was loosening up. Take a look at the front bumper. You can see that he's used his chrome horn, even though it's black in color. And he has been, well, in the hunt for the front pack of cars. Now, keep your eyes on what's going to happen here. And, of course, this is caution number 1. And we've had 2 leaders in the competition. It was Ronnie Silk, the early leader. He led the race up until lap number 58 when car number 1 took the lead for Patrick Emmerling. So those are 2 of the stories. Things start to settle in just a bit under yellow, and we're going to be looking for who is going to be taking advantage of heading back to the pit area to make adjustments. Maybe one tire change per stop now. You remember what happened last night with the Matt Hirschman car. They made an error, whether it was by mistake or whatever the situation was, but they were able to come back in. Pulling up alongside, it is Ron Silk in the Phil Moran prepared race car, Austin Beers, and of course, Stephen Kopsik.
And they will roar into the pit area. Single file. And we did have a caution flag right around this time yesterday.
Last night. Yes, we certainly did.
So this is par for the course. These guys know exactly what is in store. This is an untested, uncharted water.
There is the number 1 car. We're watching Patrick Emmerling putting on a right rear. Let's go to Jacqueline Drake.
down here in the pit area, as you'll see, the number 1 Patrick Emmerling, who came in, as well as the 16 of Ron Silk. No changes on the 16, just a right rear for them. Team feels very good about Ron and where he sits currently on the track. Quick tire changes and back out. Not too much to report here, guys. The teams are all keeping the information very close to their chest.
Well, Jacqueline, you're right about that. We've just noticed just a moment ago to the left of our screen that the Austin Beers team seemed to be struggling a bit with their pit in their situation in their pit stall. We'll see if what will happen there. They come out really late this time. Another car rejoining them is the 17 car of Anthony Nacella. So we'll wait and see how it all works out.
I'll tell you, Ben, I really liked what Austin Beers did in the first 78 laps, or 82 now laps of this race, because he came in mentally defeated. And this is the guy who set fast time, saying, well, the redraw is going to be 10 because I'm the one spinning. What happened? 10. What did he draw? 10. And then he made his way to third under green flag conditions. He's one of the few guys that can pass on the inside and outside consistently. He started 17th in one race, finished second, so it would not be a tall order for him to win from 10th place, but he's got a long way to go after those pit stops.
Sure does. And another competitor that has moved forward rather impressively is Steven Kopsik. He started in the 12th position. He has worked his way all the way up into the top 5. Luke Baldwin is right there with him as well. So things are starting to fold and come into play. And of course, you might be wondering where that 54 car is. And of course, Andy, he's still in the thick of this, but not where he'd like to be. Last night, at this point of the event, he was already in the top 5 car positions.
And Catalano becoming more accustomed to running up in front, and it's going to be one of those things. It'll be interesting over the rest of the summer is this team continues to improve, that once the bar has been raised of, well, we expect you to be in the top 5 every single week. Will a 7th place have as good of a feeling as it did a few months ago? Probably not.
Here's an interesting situation. This guy started in the parking lot. I'm making, a funny out of that, but Matt Hirschman is the leader, using pit strategy to his advantage. Emmerling's car loosened up. Here comes Austin Beers. Whatever they found in that pit stop is starting to show. Steven Kopsik is there, down low to the inside. Here comes Silk, closes the door, up on the wheel. Austin Beers trying to make the move. 4 cars contending for the same space, held down by Patrick Emmerling.
Early in the race, the 16 and the 1 made contact where Patrick Emmerling let Ron Silk gather it back up. That gentleman-like move coming back to help him as they battle side by side. Ron could have easily used him up, but no, raced him like he wanted to be raced. And Austin Beers takes advantage of that. He'll go to the inside of Emmerling in turn 1.
Side by side, Beers gets a nice bite on the bottom of the racetrack. Emmerling lines up with the back bumper of the Silk machine. Here comes Beers, working his magic on the bottom. Going, will he make it? No, can't do it. Emmerling is back in the 3rd spot. It's, a battle amongst 2 of the best. Youth versus opportunity, and here comes Beers. Now, he convincingly has the 3rd spot. It's short-lived. Silk is working over Matt Hirschman.
The car that could not, big trouble. Turn number 4, multiple drivers scattered, and Catalano, last night's winner, is one of them.
Tommy Catalano right in the middle of all of that. And it appears the final car that moves away, besides the Catalano machine, was the Max Zackham number 20 car. So the USNE power car that's set in the winner's circle doesn't appear to have much damage at all whatsoever.
That's good news for the Catalano crew as, along with brother Trevor, continue to run inside the top 10.
You know, earlier we were talking about it during the rain delay of how scientific and how professional and how he focuses totally on what he needs to do with Matt Hirschman. Hirschman made an adjustment, went to the rear of the field. Now he is leading this race. There's only been 3 different leaders. Now let's take a look at this replay, see if we can figure it out. There's the lead pack of cars. Look a little further back, center of the turn, and it did look like that the 54 machine got out of shape. Everybody tried to avoid it. And I'll tell you, Tommy Catalano was pretty lucky with that thing.
It's been a very troublesome spot for a number of different drivers, both last night and especially this afternoon. But back to Matt Hirschman. Hirschman's car could not do anything right, even with one of the best drivers of his generation, at the helm of the car this weekend. But to your point, Ben, they have just thought, adjusted, and now they are battling for the win as more cars come onto the pits.
Certainly are, and this, of course, is a bunch of cars that are making chassis adjustments. Who stayed out in the competition? Of course, Matt Hirschman did. Car number 15 looks to be the lucky dog, perhaps, to get back in the thick of things here. Top 3 positions, Matt Hirschman, and, of course, right there in contention with him, no surprise at all whatsoever, is, of course, Ronnie Silk, who's really been turning some heads.
They're running for the NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup, and if $20,000 in addition from Whelen, of course, on top of all the other point fund stuff, if Hirschman won last night and he won this afternoon, if he was able to sweep, there was a $5,000 bonus on top of the $20,000 in the Whelen Short Track Cup. Now, that isn't, no one is eligible for that this afternoon, but wouldn't it be something for a driver who had such a disastrous night last night to come back strong and win his second Whelen Short Track Cup? Call him Big Money Matt. And when $20,000 in point fund money is on the line, he can win a lion's share of that. You know he's going to step to the front and challenge for it.
Certainly is. He's here for the money. And it appears that some of the cars go around to pick up at the rear of the field. 96, just shy of the halfway marker in this event. And, of course,
so we're getting some word from Jacqueline down in the pits that there's a huge issue for Austin Beers. The team grabbed the wrong tire and ended up not putting on a new tire, even though he wanted a right rear.
So that could be something that has been extremely crucial for that particular race team. And that's what we saw. Remember, we saw people scrambling around that car. And, of course, perhaps that was the reason that a couple of the crew members said you grabbed the wrong tire, and of course that could cost them dearly. You wouldn't know it, though, by what we've seen as we went back to green.
Tires are going to be pretty amazing. Let's check in with Jacqueline Drake on more of that Austin Beers situation.
Yeah, Andy, you already alluded to that story there, but quite the unfolding for the Austin Beers team. They were very upset not getting that option, but honestly, it didn't really make a difference on that last restart. He was able to fire off really well. You'll see the number 3 of Tyler Ripkema, who's also in the pit area right now. They're currently evaluating the engine. A lot of teams have been dealing with carburetor issues all throughout the weekend. Also, we saw during the last pit stops the Catalano team having pit gun issues, resulting in the cars rolling out a little bit slower than usual. Again, the pits down here, a lot of mind games are happening. A lot of teams are pretending like their cars are going to come down pit road, only to later the car never shows up. So a lot of mind games happening and choices and strategies going on.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. It's amazing on how tight this division is and the games that go on a pit road that's considered cold, for a good chunk of the time, and how they try to psych each other out and how that ends up. Because pit strategy has put a lot of these winners or eventual winners in contention when they weren't running up front to begin with. I think of Trevor Catalano last year. I think of Jake Johnson in previous years. I think of Tommy Catalano last night.
Well, let's see what's going to happen. We're about ready to fire them back up. Half of the event is history. 100 laps into the record books. Matt Hirschman on the inside. Ronnie Silk the outside. Green flag is out. Hirschman, Silk up on the wheel in the outside lane. Ronnie Silk tries to take the lead, and he does. Will it stick? Will it be short-lived? 4 cars contending. Looking for the lead, it is Silk. Do or die time on the outside of Hirschman. Here comes Patrick Emmerling. rolls down into turn number 3. Emmerling moves to the outside. Now Austin Beers is there. Stephen Kopsick now becomes factor number 5.
We're looking, contact between Kopsick and Beers that time off of turn number 2. They settle it back into turn number 3, and Kopsick washes up the racetrack. There's Sammy Ramo, and then Craig Lutz enters into the picture. Remember last night in the middle of the race, the stud was Luke Baldwin on the outside, and here he comes again a little further up the mid-pack.
He's doing a great job. Meanwhile, look at that battle between Patrick Emmerling. It is Hirschman still trying to hold on to the spot. Then, of course, Austin Beers. Beers is going to try to follow through, thinks twice of it, goes back to the outside. Now he's on the inside, almost 3 wide. Does the crossover. He's really working that race car. Oh, trouble now. Kopsick makes a little tap to the rear of Beers. Beers gathers it back. Ramos is there. Look at Emmerling going for second.
Not surprised to see Sammy Ramo run so strong here as now Beers attempts to make it 3 wide down the front straightaway. Tucks back in behind Matt Hirschman. This is the battle for the Whelen Short Track Cup. 2 of the stars, 2 drivers who have a great shot at winning the thousands of dollars that go along with winning this championship. Matt Hirschman comes in position number 4 in the point standings. Everyone's chasing Austin Beers, and car number 64 rides in spot number 4, but he wants more in turn 1.
Even further back in this front pack of cars, all of a sudden, Lutz moves forward. Side by side, still bid for second. Beers is right there in the back bumper. Kopsick is waiting as well. No waiting here now. They're going for it. It is still Hirschman running in second. Off the turn. Hirschman still there, and Patrick Emmerling has tried everything in that outside lane. Here comes Beers again, but Emmerling has second. By the time he approaches 3, but off 4, they're back almost even again.
Last time by, Emmerling really got a shot off of turn number 2. He's been really getting off that corner. That has been his strength, and he now clears Matt Hirschman. Emmerling stayed on the outside and fought 7 laps for that position, and now he gets it. Takes a shot, though, from Matt Hirschman. And here comes Austin Beers to the inside.
While Austin Beers moves to the inside, he'll pick up the spot. Beers is up to the 3rd position. Kopsick has a new player joining him. It is the 46 of Craig Lutz. Lutz is now working over him. Here comes Kopsick. Tries to move down underneath Matt Hirschman. That's the bid for the 4th spot. All of a sudden, look at Lutz. He's there as well, and behind Lutz, it is Ramo with car number 06.
Everybody chasing Ron Silk, who lost in this story is the fact that he has raced here 14 times, had incredible success. He's led 340 laps in competition, but he's never broken through to victory. He has won 27 Whelen Modified Tour events, but not one of them have been here at Monadnock Speedway.
Amazingly enough, all of a sudden, Lutz finds his way around. He is holding off Kopsick. Now Ramo tries to move in to the inside of Stephen Kopsick. Kopsick had a car that was working on the bottom. That is no longer the case because he is stuck in the outside lane. Ramo makes the move.
Yeah.
Ramo
it's kind of
and the 21 machine come together.
I was about to say a half a lap ago, and I held my breath because, when something just doesn't seem like it smells right, those two, very similar in temper, and I think when they were going to get side by side like that, if they were going to rub a couple of times, it wasn't going to end well. And Stephen Kopsick, a driver with 2 second-place finishes, ends up on the outside of it, in the outside wall in turn number 2.
He's another competitor who's done so well this season. Stephen Kopsick about ready to get out. Here's a look at this. Ramo on the inside. Kopsick is there. They come together, coming off the turn. Things get tight, and Stephen Kopsick is in the outside wall, no fault of his own. Here's another different look at it, Andy. Ramos is there. The right front touches the left front. That upsets the Kopsick machine. Then he drifts up. Kopsick has no place to go. He is pinned in the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, that smelled like aged cheese. It was a tough situation for both drivers, and Kopsick ends up on the short end of the stick of it. A driver who was very much in the battle for the Whelen Short Track Cup as he was only 3 points out of the point lead coming into this race. Obviously, things are not going to work out for him this afternoon, but Kopsick, one of the most improved drivers in 2025, elevated status for that 21 team. And there's Sammy Ramo on your screen, too. Here's another look at it.
Yep, another look at it. You'll see Ramo's cars on the bottom. Look at the right front. It makes contact with the left front of the 21 car. Coming off the turn, Ramos comes up just a bit, and Stephen Kopsick is wedged into the outside wall. No room, no place to go, and car number 21 that was running in contention and moving forward. You're looking at the Ramo car. Doesn't appear to have much damage, perhaps. Well, right front, the toe is out, but the rest of the car still appears to be okay. But what a heartbreaker coming off turn number 2 down the back straightaway, as you can see the damage done to Stephen Kopsick's race car. Tough way to end this one. Ronnie Silk, who picked up the lead with the number 16 car, and he picked it up from Matt Hirschman.
You know, he has had quite a storied career, even here at Monadnock Speedway, where Ronnie Silk, who's not running the full schedule this year, came into this race with 325 laps in the lead here. 0 wins, 14 races, and Sammy Ramo on your screen is going to really feel the brunt of this one.
There is a penalty that has been issued by the NASCAR officials. It is a 2-lap penalty for car number 06. So that is the reason for the black consultation flag. So Ramo finds himself 2 laps down in the situation that took place with the Stephen Kopsick number 21 car.
It's the black flag without a podcast for Sammy Ramo, but Ron Silk could do something that he hasn't done in quite some time. Check something off his list here and win in his 15th attempt, the 27-time Tour winner with 13 poles total and a 2-time champ. Trying to check one off the box here in 75 laps as crews continue to attend to Stephen Kopsick.
Now we're going to take a look at the reason why that the penalty was issued to Ramo. Look at the right front on the 06. It makes contact with the 21.
And there's the follow-up.
Yep,
it's
and
the follow-up.
Wedges the 21 in the back straightaway wall, and the end results is the double hook, and that is not the way Stephen Kopsick wanted to end his day here at this racetrack.
It ain't what you said, it's how you said it.
That's right. So Ramo goes down on pit road as car number 06. 2-lap penalty received as the double hook.
Well, it hasn't been received yet, Ben. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Still working as that situation there as well. And of course, we're looking at unofficially, top 10 has pretty much been still settling in. We're going to see if we got any takers that will be heading back for either chassis adjustments, or remember, they have that opportunity to make that tire change of one tire, and right rear seemed to be the tire of choice, as it appears that the field now still under caution. We're still watching the situation here.
I'll tell you, I really feel for and now Ramo, looks like they're going to push it to the trailer. I was going to start on a Stephen Kopsick story, but let's follow this Ramo situation. It looks like the NASCAR officials, I'm not saying they're withholding it, but they're putting it, are they putting it on the trailer? No, they can't be doing that just yet, but it looks like the day might be done for Sammy Ramo.
You know, a heartbreaking situation for him as well, but, you know, the officials bring the car into his correct stall, and the Powell Stone and Gravel car for Sammy Ramos appears to be out of this event. 2 laps down with 128 laps up on the board, and his crew talking with him. Ramos has the helmet off, and he'll be getting out of the race car. So not the way he hoped his afternoon would end. They're working with the oil dry on the backstretch, and there is Ramo getting out of the race car.
And very displeased at the series of events. Is going to walk straight to his hauler and cool off there, which is probably a smart idea.
So it all can change in the blink of an eye, but let's go down to Jacqueline and see what's going on now.
Yeah, guys, just keeping an eye on pit road right now to see which cars are going to come down here. There were some hand gestures given from the 21 team when Sam, the 06, drove by, so clearly unhappy as they heard that for Stephen Kopsick. And we're seeing who exactly is going to be choosing to come into pit, if any at all. Continuing to see those pit crews, mind games, acting as if they're going to come in and pit. Now, those are all the updates as we await who or if takers.
All right, thank you very much, Jacqueline. Yeah, this race continues to unfold. Looks like Luke Baldwin, if he's not faking out, he's ready to come to the pits here.
Let's see what's going to happen here. We can see cars pulling out of line, and let's see what's going to happen. Who'll be heading down? And it appears Ronnie Silk leading the parade. Austin Beers, Matt Hirschman. Now remember, for Hirschman, very interesting with the Hirschman thing, he did not pit early. This is one of his first visits to the pit area, and that could be part of the strategy they have for this event.
Absolute genius by that team to get the track position, figure that it's going to be a situation where they got to catch up and they'll get back on cycle. Now that they're on cycle, they're ready to play with some of the big contenders. One of those drivers that did not take the pits is Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling stayed out.
Interestingly enough, their strategy must be completely different. Craig Lutz also stayed out with the number 46 car. We're looking at Dave Zapienza's number 36 machine, and we already saw that Matt Hirschman was heading back out. Austin Beers makes it out along with Silk, the number 16, and there is your 60 car, of course. So that, including number 5 of Eversole, who comes out, and here's Luke Baldwin. Behind him, Joey Cipriano.
Ryan Roby still fighting the good fight. Tyler Berry, then there's Trevor Catalano, Anthony Nocella coming out as well. But interesting to see both Bonsignors and, as pointed out before, Patrick Emmerling not taking the opportunity to sit in the pits this time. Still 69 laps to go this time.
So still a lot of time left, and if you remember what happened last night, it was the situation of the final circuit and the final turn that would become the key ingredient and the story. We've had 2 repeat leaders in this event. Ronnie Silk was one of those individuals, the early leader of the event, and now Patrick Emmerling is back in command. He led up until lap number 58 on the first round, took back at 131 or 130 the number 1 position.
So we have 2 distinct strategies in the Cheshire County Clash 200 at Monadnock Speedway. You have the camp that is Patrick Emmerling, Justin Bonsignor, Craig Lutz, Kyle Bonsignor, and then you have the drivers that came in. And that's headed up by Ron Silk. Then there's Austin Beers. Now, Beers, the current point leader when it comes to the NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup, trying to be the 4th champion in 4 different years. 64 is trailed by Matt Hirschman. Let's go down to the pits and Jacqueline Drake on Ronnie Silk.
Yeah, the 16 been a very strong contender today. Just spoke to his team. They said he's not saying much on the radio. He feels okay. They went ahead and put a left rear on that car, so now he's driving with new rear tires. They also alluded to the fact that they're waiting on the rain. So that might be part of the strategy, too, when we talk about the one of Emmerling. But then the 16, is he going to be making strong moves right here on this restart to get that track position?
Thank you, Jacqueline. I really like Ron Silk on fresh rear tires on a restart. There are few in the garage that are better than that driver when he is ready to hunt. Watch him from the inside of row number 3. It's Ronnie Silk in car number 16.
Here we go, about ready to fire them back up. Off turn number 4, Emmerling on the inside. Craig Lutz tries to get up on the wheel in the outside lane. Here comes Lutz. Oh, trouble. Luke Baldwin got pinched to the outside. He gathers it back. Meanwhile, off the turn, it is still Emmerling, the leader. But for how long? Ron Silk back up to the 4th position. Here comes Matt Hirschman. Little tap there with Kyle Bonsignor's car. Along with them Now Kyle Bonsignore has moved into the top 5.
A driver who was not happy with his finish last night, and I'm not talking about the leader, Patrick Emmerling. I'm talking about Craig Lutz, not happy with his 9th place finish last night and thinks that they can get more today. Well, he's backing that up with action. Takes a shot from Justin Bonsignore, but it's Craig Lutz looking to the outside, going for the lead into turn 1.
There's no question about it. Single file, the top 5 cars. Then 2 cars side by side. That is Austin Beers and Kyle Bonsignore. Now it is Anthony Nocella. Nocella has moved in. He's into the top 7. Back up front, leader of the pack still remains Patrick Emmerling. Meanwhile, Craig Lutz all over his back bumper as he continues to run in the tire tracks off turn 2.
Ronnie Silk gave Justin Bonsignore a shot like it was the summer of 2023. They're not battling for the lead, but they're battling for 3rd on the racetrack, and they exit turn number 2 this time, single file, both chasing Craig Lutz back into turn number 2. Further on back, you have Kyle Bonsignore battling with Trevor Catalano. That's a great battle off of 4.
Certainly is. They continue to show that battle impressively. Meanwhile, back up front, watch Justin Bonsignore. He can reel in on entry to the back bumper of Lutz, but off the turn, it is Lutz who pulls away. He continues to run right to the back end of Patrick Emmerling, waiting for that one false move that will give him the opportunity to set up and take over the lead.
You know, Ben, I'm really surprised that Ron Silk didn't use that restart to his advantage a little bit more. It seems like with fresh rear tires, he would be able to be more aggressive, but maybe that's playing into his wheelhouse, where there was 68 laps to go coming to the green flag, and he's going to need those tires. He doesn't want to burn them up now in case we get a green-white checkered like last night. You're going to still want some rubber on those tires, so maybe a smart move by Ronnie Silk, and that's why he's in the cockpit and neither of us are.
Well, you know, you're so right about that, but Silk on the last circuit, he completely went up high in 1 and 2. He gathers it back. Now, the big mover now, or looking to set up to be the big move, is Austin Beers. Beers continues to set back in that 6th position. Beers is not there. 50 laps to go when they come back to the stripe. Justin Bonsignore has moved into 2nd. Here comes Ronnie Silk. Lutz is stuck in the outside lane. Ronnie Silk is up to 3rd. Matt Hirschman can't close the deal.
It's like the 2024 championship battle, where you have Justin Bonsignore, the eventual 4-time champion, Ronnie Silk, the defending champion as of last year, and then you have Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling was the wild card who used this racetrack to parlay his championship hopes last year. It really solidified himself as a contender, and the 3 drivers that all battle for the crown last year are now single file off of turn number 4.
There's no question about it. Now Matt Hirschman has tried just about everything possible to get around Craig Lutz. It doesn't happen. Beers is still there. Anthony Nocella is right with them. And then it's the 56 of Trevor Catalano. Coming up on lap traffic. Works to the advantage. Patrick Emmerling strings it out. 0.316. The margin between 1st and 2nd.
A couple of different things happening here. There's the battle on the racetrack, but there's also the battle for the Whelen Short Track Cup, and that is tight between Patrick Emmerling and Austin Beers. Beers came in with a 6-point advantage over Emmerling. I'm not sure if Beers has led a lap here tonight, but I know Emmerling obviously has, so he's going to get the bonus, maybe the bonus for the most laps led as well. So Patrick Emmerling could actually repeat as champion of the NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup in the next 43 laps. It's going to be so close.
While you were talking about that, car number 60, Matt Hirschman moved back in to the 4th position. Short-lived, because here comes the bid for 2nd. Ronnie Silk makes the move to the bottom. Justin Bonsignore kind of had to let him go. Silk is on a tear. Ron Silk is coming back to challenge. 160 laps up on the board, 40 circuits to go. Look out, lap traffic in the way. Matt Hirschman solidly in the 4th spot. Lapped automobile is Dave Zapienza.
And Ronnie Silk is casting his Zepco, trying to reel in Patrick Emmerling. The separation now just 2.5 car lengths as they exit turn number 4.
It is .0406. 406 is the margin between the first and second place car. Meanwhile, every lap it appears that Ron Silk is closing in. Last circuit by .344. Silk is moving forward. He is getting closer and closer. Patrick Emmerling still the leader of the pack.
And right now, Austin Beers trying to lead the Whelen Short Track Cup. He desperately needs to get by Craig Lutz as an insurance car. Lutz will acquiesce on the outside, and here comes Austin Beers. That's going to be very important to potentially thousands of dollars inside the next 15 minutes if this stays green.
Certainly does. He'll take that spot away. Now, following him through is Anthony Nocella, car number 17. Nocella has moved into the top 6 now. He's not done yet. He continues to march to the front. Here comes Luke Baldwin, Trevor Catalano, right with that pack with Anthony Nocella.
Baldwin in car number 7 trying to be the late race charger here as we also keep an eye on the battle for the lead. Ronnie Silk right there. He is on the back bumper as they head into turn number 1. He has closed that gap to 0.
Meanwhile, on the right side of your screen, Lutz continues to struggle a bit, drops a little further back. Left side of your screen, you're taking a look at Ron Silk reeling in on Emmerling. They are the class of the field, 169, 170. When they come back to the stripe, Patrick Emmerling said he wanted to win here today more than anything after his disappointment last night. There comes, whoa, Ronnie Silk takes it in deep. Emmerling goes around, Silk gathers it back.
And for the second time in 18 hours, while battling for the lead, contact involving Patrick Emmerling and the Fleetwood Fleetwooks number 1 goes around.
And that is going to change everything in this event. And look at the left rear quarter of the number 1 car. You can see where the contact was made and some of the damage perhaps done there.
Let's take a look at the replay. Here they are coming off the corner. This is where Ronnie Silk sets him up. They're inches apart, and in turn 3, there it is. From our angle, really tough to see if he came down or who went up.
Let's see if we can get that replay again, because it really was so difficult to see from our vantage. But there is a number 1 car that at the time was right there as the leader of the event. And as we said, we're not sure the damage done to the sheet metal on that car might have been existing damage done to the left side. As you can see that there, we don't believe that was part of the situation. But Ron Silk is the guy that was involved, win, lose, or draw in that situation.
In the Whelen Short Track Cup, that really breathes a sigh of relief for Austin Beers, who, depending on how the lap situation worked out with Emmerling was within 1 or 2 points of taking over the point lead in the Short Track Cup. And again, $20,000 for the point fund. Let's take a look at it one more time.
Let's take a look at it again. Emmerling is the leader. Ronnie Silk goes to the inside. Emmerling's car snaps. It appears Silk's does too. Silk drives away, and Emmerling's car, unfortunately, is the car that spun.
Certainly contact between the 2 drivers running on this quarter-mile track. And let's take a look at Patrick Emmerling's car with Jacqueline Drake.
Yeah, we're down to the pit area, that number 1. They're just changing a left rear tire on that. They confirmed as well on the radio. Patrick said he dumped me, and he's visibly upset.
And that's a tough weekend for Patrick Emmerling, a driver who has led so many laps across the 2 races, and to have to fight from the back of the pack. But this one's not over, Ben. I mean, we have 26 laps to go. We've seen some really extraordinary things at this racetrack, and certainly on this tour this year, unpredictable things. What if the one who had a chip on his shoulder to begin with was given even more reason to drive like an animal through the field and come take what he believes is rightfully his?
You know, you might be right about that as he comes back out. Kyle Bonsignor also quickly comes back out. Craig Lutz all falling into position here. And you're looking at the Patrick Emmerling machine, Brian Roby's car, as well. And you know, it's kind of ironic because if you think about the start of this event, Andy, Ron Silk started in position number 1, and Justin Bonsignore started in the number 2 position. So they were the two that were in the front row.
The cream has certainly risen back to the top, and both drivers have had a nightmare-type weekend. Ron Silk had his worst finish at this racetrack possibly ever. I have to go back and deep dive into the stats, but it's very rare that you see him finish in 15th, and just an all-around bad night. Not running for the Tour Championship this year has taken a little bit out of their rhythm, and I talked to Ron about it. He says, no, not really. He said, we just come to win, and as long as we focus on doing that, we're going to have a good time, and when you're not winning and you're not running for points and you can't fall back on, well, we had a good points night, then your night gets a little extra sour, but the wins also get extra sweet when you have nothing to lose, and car number 16 is in the odd role of spoiler at this point of the season.
Certainly is, and believe it or not, but car number 16 has been the only competitor to lead this event 3 times during the course of those 177 laps. So that goes to show you that he has a fast race car and can get the job done.
So a couple of things to watch. You have the leaders, but also watch that number 1, Patrick Emmerling, from the back of the pack and what he can do in the next 22 laps. Green flag flies, and we're back underway.
Silk continues to make Bonsignore work his muscle in the outside lane. Just as impressive as the front row is, so is row number 2. Silk comes back to the stripe. Ron Silk is the leader. Bonsignore changes his strategy. Austin Beers has got to go for it on the outside, as meanwhile it is Hirschman on the inside. Here comes Anthony Nocella.
The Beers wagon, who is hooking up to it on the outside. You might want to get on because Austin is a one-man show in group number 2 on the outside of Anthony Nocella. Meanwhile, battle for the lead, and hopping the curb is Justin Bonsignore back into 1. That's going to cost him.
Meanwhile, all of a sudden, Matt Hirschman's car, same situation. That moves Austin Beers into the 3rd spot. He takes it in at a ton, comes off the turn like a rocket, and here comes Trevor Catalano. Car 56 is up to the 6th position. Now a bit back up for 3rd.
There is so much going on across this quarter-mile facility, and Matt Hirschman down to the inside. Austin Beers, again, a battle for the Whelen Short Track Cup. Current point leader is Austin Beers. Number 4 in the position, or in the points coming into this afternoon, was Matt Hirschman. Anthony Nocella, trying to be the 9th different winner in 9 different races, trails them back into turn 3.
No question, they come off the turn. It continues to be a battle. Hirschman continuing to guard that 3rd place position. Meanwhile, Austin Beers has to settle back in. Nocella still into the top 5. Then it is Trevor Catalano sitting there in the 6th position. Ryan Roby has come back to the top 8 behind Joey Cipriano. Great run for him.
It's got to be so frustrating to be Patrick Emmerling, and you got to feel for a guy like that. Car number 1 not able to make some headway after that pit stop and driving visibly angry, as reported by Jacqueline, reported from the crew as well after that unfortunate incident, battling for the lead with Ron Silk. He's ahead of last night's winner, Tommy Catalano, as everyone chases Ronnie Silk back into turn number 3. Battle for 3rd starts to shape up a little bit. Here comes Austin Beers.
Here it comes again. We saw him do it high. Now we're going to see him try to do it low. Thinks twice of it. Tries to get a nice run to the inside. 10 circuits to go when they come back to the stripe. Still, Beers cannot get around Hirschman in a bid for that 3rd position. Anthony Nocella tests the waters a bit. Here comes Anthony Nocella down underneath Austin Beers. With him comes Trevor Catalano.
If I'm Austin Beers, I let these drivers go, and I don't worry too much about it because I'm going to have thousands of reasons to be okay with it in just a couple of minutes. If he can hang on for the NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup, his closest competitor is Matt Hirschman, but Hirschman is not mathematically ahead of him in the standings. However, if Beers continues to lose positions here in the final few laps, Hirschman could steal this thing. It's going to go down to the final lap.
There's no question. Out in front and pulling away. Biggest margin in quite some time, 0.621 on the last circuit. Between 1st and 2nd, Ronnie Silk, and of course Justin Bonsignore. Look a little further back at that battle between the 15 of Joey Cipriano, who's now come to life in the 7th position, but now they continue to work some magic there. All of a sudden, Luke Baldwin is now pressuring the Austin Beers machine.
Ronnie Silk has not loved Monadnock Speedway. He's done well here. He's raced 14 times, led well over 300 laps, but 0 Tour wins. And for a driver that's won 27 times on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, a big goose egg here at Monadnock, but he is 2 laps away from checking that off, Ben Dodge.
Take a look at this battle between Beers, continuing with Tommy Catalano. Side-by-side competition and great racing action
he
there.
He needs that spot for the Cup.
He sure did, and he was able to plant it. 199, they're coming down to the wire. Ron Silk has broken up that winless streak here in Monadnock. He'll visit Victory Lane.
Who is going to get the Whelen Short Track Cup as Austin Beers beats Tommy Catalano by about a foot at the line, and I think that's the point he needed to be the champ. We're going to let the officials work all of the math out, but I think that holding off Tommy Catalano is going to go down as a crucial moment if, in fact, Austin Beers is the NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup champion this year. We will have further details on that in just a bit. And it kind of overshadows the race win for a driver who has fought off and on this weekend, more off than on, and finally breaks through on his 15th try at the Mad Dog. 28 Tour wins now for the driver known as Ron Silk.
And as you said before, he came here with one thing in mind. It was to win. Wasn't about points or anything else. Yesterday he was a little bit disappointed. Today there will be no disappointment and a bounce in his step to secure this impressive victory.
An interesting footnote is Matt Hirschman still on the racetrack. He did finish 3rd, and we're looking at where Austin Beers finished versus who got bonus points, and I don't think either one of them did, but we're letting the officials work that out. But we have a very, very tense Victory Lane with a potential champion. We're just not sure yet. One thing we are sure of is that Ron Silk is the champion of the Cheshire County Clash for 2025, put on by JDV Productions. And there you can see him on your screen. The man who drew position number 1 and then walked off. It wasn't a walk-off lap, it was a walk-off pole. And he has a walk-off win here this afternoon.
Well, he worked and he earned it. He came back, took the lead on 3 different occasions. And, of course, there he sets in Victory Lane. And, of course, the official hat comes on from Whelen Engineering, and we'll be heading down very shortly to the winner's circle here.
I mean, what must be going through his head on just this entire weekend? 15th place last night. The car in all sorts of different places that he didn't want it to be, but they just stayed true to their game. And now he's getting ready to exit the vehicle and let him hear it when he gets out for the 28th time as a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour winner and a champion in the Cheshire County Clash this afternoon. He's out of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Silk.
Out of the car, your race winner today at Monadnock Speedway. Ron, first off, congratulations. What a swing you had from yesterday to today. You were determined. I saw you all through the pit area just looking for a little bit more. But what was the key today to have you end up right here in Victory Lane?
We had a pretty good car yesterday, too, and things just kind of got out of our, got out of sorts and out of our control. But great team, all the guys on this thing that worked so hard. Car owners, Tyler Haight, Joey Known, Blue Mountain Machine, Future Homes, Phil Moran, my crew chief, Bob Tulipani, the car chief, all these guys over here that make all this happen.
You got out of the car, they handed you a water right away. It's a hot day here in New Hampshire. Did you feel like you had to put in a lot of physical work behind the wheel with all the pressure from behind?
Yeah, I'm pretty worn out right now. It's tough back to back with last night too, was another hot one, but it feels good to leave with a win.
Congratulations. Ron Silk, your winner today at Monadnock Speedway. The 16 got it done.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. And the appearance of Austin Beers in turn number 4 leads us to believe there's going to be a major celebration as a result of the commitment that Whelen have made to these 3 specific races. It started back in May at Seekonk Speedway, and with the combination race this weekend, the second and third events of 25 for the Whelen Short Track Cup, $20,000 in additional point fund money for these 3 specific races and the championship that goes within those 3 races. A lion's share of that going to the champion, which looks like his car is number 64, and we're going to wait for the official announcement on that in just a moment. But then again, they probably wouldn't bring him out, Ben, if it wasn't the case. That would be really mean. Psych. But what a great race all the way through, Ben. It was all over the map. I mean, we in both our races here tonight, we've had...
You talk about drama. It had all the key ingredients of having drama in this particular event. Ronnie Silk, as we said, started on the pole, ended up taking the lead 3 times. Patrick Emmerling looked like he was a shoo-in and had it. And then, of course, the situation that we saw unfold there. Another twist and turn as the plot thickened. And, of course, let's go back down with Justin Bonsignor and Jacqueline Drake.
Yeah, we're still awaiting the results for the Whelen Short Track Cup, but I wanted to talk to Justin Bonsignor, placing in the 2nd position today, that 51. You had quite the battle going on. It got a little aggressive there, too, in the top 5. Talk to me about that 51 and what more you needed just to make it one spot better.
Yeah, we struggled at the start of the race. I got freight trained and got to that 2-tire strategy pretty much as a no-brainer, and car was pretty good after that. I think, Ron pitted a little later than us. I don't know if tires are that important here, but, my car just wasn't as good as his. Like, if I could wrap the bottom perfectly in 3 and 4, I could run with him, but I hit the curb pretty bad and kind of gave him a big gap and really couldn't do nothing outside of that. But, yeah, all in all, a good comeback for us. It was a pretty good weekend, too. 4th and a 2nd, we struggled pretty bad here last year. So just want to thank Phoenix Communications, Clearcom IT Solutions, Robbie East Engines, Fury Race Cars, 73 Technologies, the whole pit crew for being here. This is a tough weekend to do this with the weather especially. And thank all the fans for coming out both days. This is pretty cool. And hopefully I can make my ferry home.
Yeah, you said you wanted to walk away with a good finish, and you did just that. Justin Bonsignor finishing in 2nd place at Monadnock.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. As we await the champion of the Whelen Short Track Cup, it was close between a couple of different competitors, and
the margin, I think, is going to be amazing when we get down to it.
I cannot wait to break this down.
One thing we know right at this second, somebody from Northampton, Pennsylvania is going to be the guy.
Yeah, that's a very good antidote to that as well. But between Matt Hirschman and Austin Beers, they fought back and forth all afternoon, and Beers fighting at the very last lap for that position. Was it enough for him to get the championship for the NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup? As he pulls off of the racetrack.
So that could be an indication of the story, perhaps, of that prestigious title.
By 1 point, your 2025 NASCAR Whelen Short Track Cup champion is a driver from Northampton, Pennsylvania, and it's the number 60 of Matt Hirschman. What a comeback today.
Amazing comeback after having a tough day yesterday. He'll move up and move into the winner's circle, and of course he will be the individual that becomes the recipient of a lot of money on the line, and can imagine that just 1 point.
Let's go down trackside to Jacqueline Drake for the Hoosier pole draw. Find out who's going to get some tires.
Yes, Ron Silk pulled that number out. The Hoosier tire draw. The driver that finished in the 17th position today will win a free set of Hoosier tires. And we'll be throwing that up to the booth to see who that driver was. And in just a moment, we're going to be celebrating our Whelen Short Track Cup champion.
Very very much, Jacqueline. It looks like it's going to be Mike Marshall to grab the 4 tires. And there you see JDV founder and president Josh Veneta getting ready to do the Whelen Short Track Cup Championship presentation. And, you know, we go back now 4 years for this. And one of the reasons why this driver was involved in the first place with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and this specific race was this program. The additional money brought in big money Matt. And let's go down trackside to Jacqueline Drake with the presentation.
And here he is, Matt Hirschman, out of the car, your 2025 Whelen Short Track Cup champion. The confetti flies and a smile on Matt's face. Matt, you have had a wild weekend. You and I even spoke about it this morning. You were kind of down in the dumps. You said we threw that out the window yesterday with where we were with the 60 and all the bad luck we had. But we're standing here today with some confetti on the ground. So it all turned around for you. What's the emotions you're feeling?
Well, I definitely did not think this was possible. I do think we gave it away last night, but I mean, we ended up with a third place finish here with a car that felt like it was driving on 6 or 7 cylinders. So I can't tell you, I mean, my guys worked hard. I don't know what the problem is. Nobody does. It's nobody's fault. But we had an issue that really cost us a lot this weekend. I mean, the Cup wouldn't have been even a contest if we would have finished anywhere remotely close to where we should have last night. But our performance at Seekonk definitely helped us a lot with a max points day. And then today, played a little strategy there to gain some track position. Actually got credit for leading the lap, or a few laps anyway. And, you know, in the end, it worked out. Austin was probably in position to win it. He faded back there. But, man, I mean, I feel like I drove my rear end off today with what I had. And like I said, that's not to take anything away from the team. We just were fighting something. And, man, I like I said, especially after last night, I thought we definitely threw this whole thing away.
Well, you're standing here now, and you're going to take home the Short Track Cup. I got to ask, you get that $3,500 bonus. What are you going to do with the money?
I'll find the nearest Bar Harbor Bank and Trust and go cash it.
I love it. That's Matt Hirschman. He's a champion, and he never gave up. We're going to pass the mic over to Josh Veneta with JDV Productions with the presentation of the trophy.
Matt, I remember almost 4 years ago to this weekend, standing at Claremont Motorsports Park and handing you a trophy exactly like this one. You were our inaugural Whelen Short Track Cup champion, and I'm very proud to hand you the trophy again as the first repeat Whelen Short Track Cup champion. On behalf of all of Whelen's employees, my family, and our entire team, we couldn't be more proud to hand you this trophy and acknowledge you for your accomplishments. One story all of you may not know from today is I saw Matt as he came in. And I said to him, man, it was a tough day yesterday. And he said, yeah, it was. And when he walked away, he just said this to his son, this is why you never give up. And he didn't give up. And today, Matt's a champion again, one of the greatest of our generation. And it's a privilege to have you as our champion. Congratulations, Matt. Thank you.
All right, there is... It's a great presentation there by Josh, saying that, you know, it's a privilege to have you race our events. And what we're witnessing is greatness in real time. We talk about all the stats and our heroes from decades past. You're watching someone not pad their stats, but create history right in front of your eyes every single weekend.
And the true story of it all, he said it best, never give up, and that's what we've witnessed today. It wasn't only this driver, it was all the drivers in the competition. They continue to fight and fight hard. There were so many plots and different twists and turns, it was just unbelievable.
One of the things that he brought up in the acceptance speech was we stayed out and we led those laps. When they got back on cycle, it turns out leading that one lap was what put him ahead.
The deal breaker, yes.
Right?